Oh, I have lost so much money so many different ways. This is going to be a painful video for me. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to WELTE every 7th. This is sort of the podcast style version of the content that I do here on WELTE. This episode though, there's quite a bit of visual going on actually, so you know, this one's a little different. As you know, I'm working gig economy, delivering food, DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatnot. While I do these episodes, I'm starting out with this order right here. That's how bad DoorDash has been for me lately, guys. Ever since the Earn by Time program, you know, this is the kind of stuff that I'm left with because I still do the Earn by Order strategy. And on a slow day like today on a Tuesday, I'm taking something like this. It's sad. So I've got 3 main failed investments that I want to share with you guys in this video, but I've got a couple things before we get into that. A couple things that I was really close to investing in that I didn't. So they're not failed investments, they're pretty majorly missed opportunities that I'm pretty embarrassed about. How about in 2019 when I was trading Tesla stock with some regularity on my Robinhood account, and yeah, I mean, I was selling these things at like $300 something a share, whatever, back before they split twice. So if I have 27 shares back in 2019 and they've split now, they did a 5-for-1 split and then a 3-for-1 split, meaning that 27 shares would be multiplied by 15. So there's a little bit of complicated math here, but if you understand the stock market and trading individual stocks, you'll see. You know, I had sold my 27 shares in 2019 for somewhere around $8,000. And if I'd have held on to that, the peak of the value of the investment that I held here would have been $164,000.
And I passed up on them. I passed up on Uber. It's fine. All I had to do was give them $25,000 and it would have turned into $300 million.
So that's kind of a hard pill to swallow. I was making money as I was trading Tesla stock back then. I thought that Tesla had a lot of potential. Never did I think though that it was going to be a primary way of Elon Musk ultimately becoming the richest man in the world. I didn't see it going that well for him, you know, so I was kind of right, kind of wrong. If I had held those stocks all the way through today, they'd be worth like somewhere around $80,000. So yeah, basically I was selling $1 for a dime at that time.
Stupid. When I really think about it, it makes me want to fucking kill myself.
Just arrived at the customer. Let me go make my $4.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Another thing I really regret not trusting my gut on was buying VFriends, Gary V's NFTs on release. I had the money at the time. I believed that the value of these things was going to go up. I had no concept that they were going to go up as much as they did, but I knew this was a way that I could easily double or triple some money. What kept me from doing it was you had to have like cryptocurrency accounts. You had to have some knowledge of how to play around with cryptos, and I don't do that. I haven't done that. There's another trash order, decline. If there had been a way to just purchase the NFT with cash or with card or something like that, I'd have done it. I know I'd have done it. It was too difficult. He made it too difficult, in my opinion, to make the purchase. And yeah, I should have put the time in to learn how to do it. That way I could still profit off of this. Because look at this. No NFT at the time of sale went for more than what in US dollars would be $10,000. I think they were all at or under that price. Since then, one of these things has sold for over $500,000. And that's not an incredibly outlier sale. I looked up an article on like the top 10 sales of any of his NFTs ever. And these would be on the resale market. And all of them were in 6-figure sales. It's not unrealistic to think that I could have potentially 10x'd my money. So there's another swing I should have taken. Thankfully, you know, I've done pretty well for myself. Man. 864, 7.2 miles. whatever, let's do it. On a day like today, you gotta take stuff. Oh, here we have a Grubhub offer. 931, 5.6 miles. See, now we have a problem because I'm gonna accept this one. Obviously, this is a much better order. And now I'm gonna have to go unassign myself from the Uber order. Oh, the Uber customer's name is Ryan too. Ah, Ryan, I'm sorry, brother. I can't do it. You got beat. You got beat by Grubhub, bro. So as I was saying, the reason I can make a video like this and not feel super bad about myself is I've done pretty well for myself given my circumstances, given my age. You know, I feel good about where I'm at. I feel good about where I'm tracking to be. And so I can look back and kind of smile at the losses, because the reality is the reason I've done well is because you have to take big swings investing your money. You gotta do things that are gonna, you know, you're gonna have some L's. You're gonna have some L's. You're gonna have some 4-figure L's. So I'll get into my 3, what I think are like my most interesting L's. Number one, the number one is probably the most creative or unconventional investment that I've done. You guys let me know in the comments, am I a clown for some of these investments that I've done? Or do you think that I just need to wait longer and they'll end up paying off? But basically, what do you think? All right, while I'm at the stoplight here, I can pull this out. This is an honorable mention, by the way. This is not in my 3. There you go. There's my diploma, associate's degree diploma. This piece of paper right here cost me basically $20,000. If you've watched the channel, you've seen me talk about, because I made a YouTube video where I paid off my college debt from my freshman year. I went to university for 1 year before dropping out. That cost me about $11,000. And then for that associate's degree, it took me 2 more years to complete it. And I paid cash every semester as I completed that. So in total, close to $20,000. I've seen 0 return on investment for that. Literally 0. I can't think of a single dollar I've ever earned in my life that was because I went to college. So I burned up 3 years of time and $20,000 worth of capital for nothing. Honestly, nothing. I talk about how I'm glad I did college because it led to me meeting my wife pretty directly. I met my wife in Rock Hill, though, where I grew up and where I live now and where I work now. Had I not gone to college, it could have still happened that I would have met my wife. In fact, I might have met her a year sooner, potentially. Of course, I don't know that. It's dumb to second guess on something like that. I'm not saying that I wish my life hadn't gone the way it had. I'm just saying it was a poor investment from a financial perspective. I think if I'd have started right out of high school, being a gig tuber, doing gig work every hour of my time, literally, I'm not kidding you guys, I think I'd be worth $500,000 right now at the age of 25. I just think I would. Knowing what I know today, applying my knowledge right now to myself at 17, 18 years old, I'd have a $500,000 net worth right now. And not even because I know how to earn a lot of money. It's just mistakes like that add up. And I've got a decent net worth as it is. If I could take some of those mistakes away and spend, really, think of all that time that I spent in the classroom at universities for nothing. Apply that time to earning some money, yeah, I'd be worth a $500,000. I'll head inside to Jersey Mike for this pickup, and then I'll reveal my actual top 3 most embarrassing failed investments. Number 3, if we want to talk about investments that aren't performing well for me, we don't have to go very far back. How about right now? What I'm invested in right now on Robinhood. See, I've talked about my investment strategy before on the channel. It's somewhat high risk, and I will, if it doesn't work out temporarily, I will double down and trade on margin to increase my position on the stock. So all my money right now on Robinhood is invested in Amazon stock. 2022 was really hard on it. I was down at one point, I was down like $40,000. Seriously. And so what I've done as of late, when I have enough money, when I've earned enough money to put more in my investment account, I don't buy any more stock with it. I just sit it in the account. That way it buys some of the margin back that I used. Currently down $23,000 on all the Amazon stock that I purchased in 2022. Haven't sold any of it, won't sell any of it until absolutely necessary, or until it's returned. And I think ultimately, as long as nothing insane happens, I'll still end up profiting on this. It'll just be a wild ride to get there. How about number 2? This one is much less of a loss on an individual basis. Now, I've made this mistake a couple times, but the reason this is number 2 is because I made this mistake directly on air on the channel. This is pretty brutal right here, my friends. The best bet on the board preseason is Bears over 6.5 wins on the season. All right, the media is all over the Bears, talking about how they might potentially be the worst team in the league. Trust me, I pay attention closely. They're far from the worst team in the league. I'm telling you what, the Bears are going to grab 7 wins fairly easily. I would not be surprised if the Bears have a winning record on the year. When I say something like that on the channel, I'm not just blowing smoke. I wouldn't recommend people do something that I'm not throwing money at myself. My money very much every time is where my mouth is. I didn't even get a good number on this bet. That over-under of 6.5 wins, that ended up like later in the offseason, I could get that at 4.5, I think. Definitely 5.5, but I think there was a period where it was 4.5 or 5. I mean, I was just dead wrong. So that was a $1,400 loss. I'm not really upset at the fact that I made that mistake. To some degree, I was correct. I'm going to say that. Like, Justin Fields kind of proved that he's more of what I thought he was than what everybody else thought he was a year ago. He is that guy. We learned that this year, and I saw that coming. Also, if you look at the stats of like what would the NFL standings look like if you just flipped the results of all the one possession games, like the Vikings, instead of making the playoffs, would have been like the worst team in the league, and the Bears would have been close to 500 or having a winning record. So to some degree, things just went poorly for me, and I got a little unlucky during the course of the games. But yeah, for me to be as wrong as I was, to talk about how we're probably going to have a winning record and there's no chance of us being the worst team in the league, and then having it play out that way, I just got to swallow that L. I was dead wrong. We literally have the number 1 overall draft pick. Another bad DoorDash order, $4.75 this time though for over 6 miles. Now, even on a slow day, the only way I'm taking a $4.75 is if it's like a $2 per mile type ride. Number 1, we'll get to number 1 after I deliver the Jersey Mikes. There we go. $9.31 for that order. Much better. Much better. And number 1, this one's the one you guys might clown me for. Basketball cards. And I mean, like, lots of them. I mean, like, this is just the beginning of it. I left lots of them at home. I bought like individual packs that weren't in the box too. Like dozens of them just sitting at the house. These are a lot more expensive, if you don't know, than you'd probably realize. I'm in several $1,000s to this. Check this out. I brought a couple of my tubs here that have some of the cards. Like, you know, I don't even know what's all in here necessarily. I think here in the front are some of the ones I'm really proud of. Yeah, like we got Luka Doncic rookie cards. We got Zion rookie cards. We got Ja Morant rookie cards in here somewhere. Here we go. So yeah, you know, I just like bought a lot of them. During the time that I was purchasing, I made this little notebook here where I was keeping track of all of the purchases. Please be a good order. Please be a good order, Grubhub. What do we have? $5, 6.8. No chance. So yeah, I was writing down every single individual card that I would purchase and the cost at that time and the date at which I bought it, so that I could track, you know, how much I'm making or losing. It's hard to know because I haven't really done much selling. I've only sold probably a dozen cards, and I've bought, you know, thousands of them. Pretty decent DoorDash right here. 6.25 potential hidden tip, 3.6 miles. I can do that. I can do that. So, yeah, it's hard to know. What I do know is, though, on a whole, the basketball card market is down. Those aren't even the ones I'm worried about. The Luka, Zion, Jaws, I got a bunch of LaMelo balls. Those aren't really the ones I'm worried about. I'll show you the ones I'm worried about here in a second. The entire sports collectible market is down right now, though, with the economy being what it is. You know, secondary investments like that don't actually have any value, like basketball cards don't actually do anything for you. They don't produce anything. You know, those markets get hit hard when the economy's bad. So I know I'm definitely at a loss right now. In fact, like the boxes of cards that you saw that I was holding up that are unopened, I was thinking I can just sell those boxes now. Those are a couple years old, first of all. There weren't many players from that draft that really hit. I was thinking I could just sell those boxes at a profit. Now, I really don't think I'd be able to do that. Now, one of the only ways that I could potentially return on investment for those boxes is just to open them themselves. Sometimes people put videos up on YouTube of that, like the unboxing of those things. It can be pretty exciting. Maybe I get lucky and there's a card with some real rarity in one of these boxes. But, you know, that I'm taking a big risk with that. This, by the way, was also a Gary Vee concept. Like, I was doing a lot of the purchasing of these during the time that he was really hyping up basketball cards. And, you know, thankfully I'm in a position in life based on good decision making that I can afford to put a couple grand in something and have it not work out. And it's not going to change the way my life looks. Like when I made my net worth video last year, I didn't even talk about basketball cards. I didn't even bring it up, even though I'd put a couple grand into it, because at that time I had already written it off in my mind as a loss. If I ever return the money on this stuff, I'll feel like a champion for that, because, you know, just because I don't need that money, I'm able to look at it and say, hey, it didn't work out. Even though I've still got a chance, you know. I can sit on them for a couple decades if necessary. Let me show you, before I go pick up this Wingstop, the specific thing that I'm, you know, really probably facing a loss on here. There's a particular player. Here he is. Probably a couple grand just in this one player. All of these are one player. James Wiseman of the Golden State Warriors. And this was not wise, man. So it was $2 grand just into this one guy. And I bought, like, for a period of time on eBay, every single one that would be listed. Like, I was buying all of them because I was convinced that the Warriors were going to return to the finals. They did. I was not wrong about that. Like, they restored their dynasty through that tough year. But I was thinking, they're going to draft James Wiseman. He's going to be their starting center. They're going to go back to the finals. They're going to win a couple NBA finals. And if he has a good series, like when Kevin Durant was wrongfully winning NBA finals MVPs ahead of Steph Curry, I was like, maybe Wiseman could do the same thing. If he wins a couple finals MVPs while this team is really good, I'll make my money. I'm not convinced James Wiseman is a lost cause. I just got unlucky. It was like investing in Greg Oden a decade and a half ago. You know, it was just unfortunate. You can't know that the guy's going to be such an injury problem. In 3 years, he's in his third season, he's played 60 games. That's it. 60 games. I don't think any of that in the playoffs. When they made that finals run, he was not right during that. So, and in the 60 games, he's averaging less than 10 points a game. Because what's he going to do? Every time he comes on the court, he's trying to play himself back into shape from the previous injury. So he's not getting a lot of minutes. So yeah, James Wiseman, I just got to cross my fingers and hope that the dude can get healthy. Maybe he can be like a Joel Embiid situation. That'd be best case scenario for me. You know, early career injuries, still turning into an MVP caliber player. Here's some of the LaMelo Ball stash. You know, I'm excited about him as a Hornets season ticket holder. That's another investment I made. I'll link that video for you guys at the end of this video. If you liked this video, you know, you'll potentially be interested in some of the good investments I've made. So I became a Hornets season ticket holder this year, and it's been doing really well. Anyway, I hope you guys found this entertaining. I hope you guys saw some information in here that I haven't given to this audience yet. So there you go. There's a little piece of the failures that I've tasted. I hope you guys have a good week. I will see you next time on WELTE.